Hey friends, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about reversing our biological age, and we're going to review a paper that was published by Steve Horvath and colleagues in August of 2019. To give you the quick breakdown of this clinical study, the outcomes of this study, and something that I really want you to understand is as we age, our thymus, which is how we get our T helper cells kind of formed in our body, it atrophies. And I'll throw up a little screenshot right here of the thymus atrophy over time between a newborn and a 63-year-old. And this is associated with immunosenescence or inflamm-Aging. And so as we age, our baseline levels of inflammation increases. And that's why we get more age-related inflammatory diseases, including but not limited to cancer, autoimmunity, more susceptibility to infectious disease and lingering infections that don't recover. We get other things that are inflammatory based like diabetes, chronic neurologic degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and mild cognitive impairment and cancers and much more. And so we're going to talk about this study, but first I want to let you know that you are tuning into High Intensity Health. I'm Mike Mutzel. I'm super excited, super grateful that you're here. If at any point you enjoy this content, you can hit that like button. Definitely leave us a comment below. And if you think you have a friend or family member that would benefit from this type of information, please share this video with them. What we like to do on this channel is unpack science and make it practical. So let's talk about this study. This is really cool because oftentimes, friends, in the longevity science, we see a lot of, stuff being done in yeast or stuff being done in animals. I say stuff, like people give resveratrol to mice or to animals or yeast. And, we don't have a lot of human interventional trials, but this was a 1-year trial. And they gave, I can't remember the exact dosages on the human growth hormone, so I have a little cheat sheet right here. So it was 0.15 milligram per kilogram of body weight was the amount of human growth hormone that was given. And look, this is super controversial, right? And let me just tell you why they gave human growth hormone and the outcomes that they were looking at. So work in individuals that are HIV positive, they found that when they give those individuals human growth hormone, it helps to improve the function of their thymus gland. Now, as you age, as I just mentioned earlier, your thymus gland atrophies, and that affects the total T cell receptor population. And so if you don't have enough T cells around, you're not going to make enough regulatory T cells, now the T lymphocytes that are necessary to help your body surmount an infection or surmount chronic inflammation and so on. And as I mentioned earlier, but I'll just say it again, as we age, our natural levels of inflammation increase. And there's a phenomenon that's well known, we've talked about it on this channel many times, called inflamm-Aging. The combination of inflammation associated with aging. And that's why, just as a small side note, I think it's very important as we age to really make intermittent fasting and periodic prolonged fasting part of our lifestyle. I feel that the ketogenic diet is very helpful. We know from cellular and molecular studies that we're in ketosis. Ketones, namely beta-hydroxybutyrate, affects this powerful anti-inflammatory signaling hub called the NLRP3 inflammasome that's involved in suppressing nuclear factor kappa beta and all these downstream pro-inflammatory signaling pathways. I know we're getting into the science, but I just want you to know there's a lot of science here to support what we talk about on this channel and the interviews we've done with experts. So if you want to learn more about that, I'll link them below. But getting back to this study, they gave individuals 0.015 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. You'll have to do some math to see how much that would exactly be for you. But they gave them growth hormone. They also gave them 50 milligrams of DHEA and 500 milligrams of metformin. You might wonder, why the DHEA and why the metformin? Well, let me explain. When you take human growth hormone, it has kind of this side effect, if you will, in addition to the ability to regenerate the thymus gland, which declines with age. It has the side effect of creating a little bit of insulin resistance. And so that's why these two compounds were given, because both DHEA and metformin improve insulin sensitivity, at least to a few human clinical studies. And just as a small side note, I'm 37, but I've been taking DHEA since I was 35. I take 50 milligrams every single morning, right at around 7 o'clock. It does amazing things for your circadian rhythm. There's a lot of great research out there showing that low DHEA levels predict morbidity and mortality and are linked with inflammatory conditions. I think DHEA is really a low-hanging fruit that a lot of us in our mid-30s and beyond can benefit from. I want to caution women in overshooting DHEA. A lot of doctors can give women way too much DHEA. It can accelerate hair loss. It can accelerate androgenic-like symptoms. And so you can definitely overdo it. For men, you can start out at 25 milligrams, see how you feel, and titrate up. For women, I would suggest starting out like, maybe 5 or 10 milligrams and being very cautious. But anyway, to make a long story short, and the reason why they give metformin is there's some, good research showing that metformin can affect blood sugar health, but also mitochondrial function, mitochondrial biogenesis. And so this triad of these different drugs, or compounds, if you will, reduced the epigenetic age, which we've done on another video, the DHEA from Zymo Science, I think is the company, using the GrimAge epigenetic age technology. They actually showed that compared to controls that didn't get this intervention, these individuals, they slow down their biological age per this test by 2 years. And what's interesting is they also showed other biomarkers and anthropometric variables and things like that. But even after just doing this 6-month intervention, they looked at the epigenetic age, 6 months later, and there were still signs that this didn't revert back, right? It's not like, so when these individuals did this, short-term 6-month intervention, it's not like when they stopped, it just, went away. There were still lingering positive effects in terms of the epigenetic age. So what do you do here? Does everyone need to go get on growth hormone? Does everyone need to take DHEA and metformin? I think for the latter, the DHEA metformin, I think can be very effective. Pardon me. I think they can be effective, but if you want a more natural way to mimic the same pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics, if you will, that metformin offers, berberine from a high quality source can be very effective. It's been shown to stimulate the same receptor, AMPK, the kinase involved in the known kind of mechanistic target of metformin. It may not have the same side effect profile in terms of affecting B vitamin metabolism. Some people don't mind taking metformin, but I would just make sure that you're getting it from a pharmaceutical company that's making the drug in the United States. We know that a lot of generic drugs right now being made in China, being made in India, and the quality control measures are not the same, even compared to US made supplement companies. So you just want to keep that in mind. Where are you getting it? How much are you paying for it? If you want an alternative, you can try berberine hydrochloride, 500 milligrams to 1500 milligrams per day, okay? So I think it's super interesting. I'm not personally going to get on growth hormone because I fast, and studies have actually shown that intermittent fasting and periodic prolonged fasting can really increase the hypothalamic pituitary pulsatile secretions of growth hormone. So we can get a nice push in our growth hormone levels through intermittent fasting and periodic prolonged fasting. Exercise as well is another way that we can get a push in our growth hormone. And so I think I'm kind of hedging my bets. Just me personally, I'm not giving you medical advice. You got to work with your doctor, but that's what I'm going to do is continue my Metabolic Mondays, a 36-hour fast, continue DHEA, berberine, things like that. And I do take a gram of fermented trans-resveratrol in the evening. We'll see what my DNAge, the epigenetic age test shows, how that's influencing my body. But if I was 53, I would consider getting on this level of growth hormone and seeing what it does. I think it's pretty fascinating stuff. I'm going to recommend it to my parents. But growth hormone is super expensive and it's hard to get. Some states it's regulated more than others. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting, but the data, I'll link a link. So yeah, I think it's kind of interesting, but I'll link this study below. I'd love to know what your comments are. Are you open to getting on growth hormone? Have you considered this protocol? I think it's pretty interesting. And again, it kind of shows that if we really want to mitigate or slow down or enhance the way that we age, we want to think about our immune system. And so whatever diet you choose, you want to make sure that it's going to render an anti-inflammatory response in your body. And this is where I think the low-carb ketogenic style diet and intermittent fasting eating patterns really shine because of how they affect our immune system, of how they affect our hormones, and all that in regards to longevity. And so you got to keep in mind that as you age, you're going to get more inflamed. And so now that you know that, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about your feeding fasting patterns? What are you going to do about your exercise? All these things I've kind of shared with you in this video what I do, but I would love to know what you do. I'll be following the comments below. And as always, I hope you enjoyed this content. And if you did, hit that like button and we'll catch you on a future episode down the road. Have a good one, guys.